The next speech is by respected Rafiq Ahmed Hayat Sahib, Amir Jamaat Ahmadiyya UK, on the topic, the global progress of Jamaat Ahmadiyya under the blessed leadership of Khilafat.
Assalamu alaikum. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. Amma ba'du fa'auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Respected Chair, my beloved Hazur, elders, brothers, sisters, and the guests of the Jalsa Salana, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Today I have the honor of speaking on a subject that lies at the heart of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community's progress, resilience and global impact, the blessed institution of Khilafat, and how through it the Jama'at of the Prophet Messiah has grown from a small, unknown village in India to a worldwide spiritual movement. The Khilafat in Ahmadiyyat is not a political institution. It is a divinely guided spiritual leadership established by Allah the Almighty Himself after the demise of the Prophet Messiah, Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmed. It is through Khilafat that the Jama'at has remained united, disciplined, and forward-looking, despite the storm of opposition, migration, and persecution. Let us begin by remembering the divine purpose of the advent of the Prophet Messiah. He was sent by Allah to establish the living connection between man and its Creator. He declared, "I have been sent to revive the faith and to establish again the unity and the love which has disappeared from the world. I have been sent to bring man back to God and God back to man." This mission to reform mankind, restore peace, and reintroduce the world to the living God continues today through the system of Khilafat. And when the Prophet ﷺ passed away in 1908, the Jama'at stood at a critical juncture. Confusion loomed, and the uncertainty threatened to fragment the community. It was then that Allah the Almighty raised Hazrat Maulvi Nuruddin Ramallah, a man of immense humility, wisdom, and scholarship, as the first Khalifa of the Prophet Messiah. Hazrat Khalifa Masih I was not only a physician of the body, but a healer of hearts and souls. In time of political division, he emerged as a conciliator and a unifier, guiding the Jama'at with remarkable calm and spiritual foresight. His leadership, though short, was profound. From the humble town of Qadian, unknown to the wider world at that time, he initiated the first international outreach efforts of the Jama'at. He encouraged emissaries and letters to be sent far and wide so that the message of the Prophet ﷺ could begin its journey to the corners of the world. Despite limited resources and infrastructure, it was under his guidance that the seed of the Jama'at's global mission were first sown, a testament to the power of divine leadership. When describing his character, Mubarak Ali Sahib wrote in the Review of Religions in 1914, "This saint tried to turn his flowers into true Muslims who would be entirely of God and no other, and would hold afloat the torch of faith before the world." Following the demise of Hazrat Khalifa Masih, Allah fulfilled a grand prophecy made by the Prophet Messiah regarding the birth of the promised son, one who would be filled with knowledge and spiritual insight. In 1914, a young man, just 25 years, Hazrat Mirza Bashiruddin Mahmud Ahmed Ramallah, was elected as the second Khalifa. Some doubted his age and ability. It quickly became clear that he was no ordinary leader. Under the divine support of Allah, he became one of the most visionary and dynamic Khalifas in the history of Islam. He began by strengthening the infrastructure of the Jama'at, forming auxiliary organizations like Ondemand, Lajna Mala, and Ansarullah, and giving structure to the growing community and prepare it for global responsibility. Then came one of the most defining periods in South Asian history, the struggle for the independence of India. At this crucial moment, Hazrat Khalifa Masih played a key role. He recognized that the Muslims needed a separate homeland to safeguard their religious rights. He urged Muhammad Ali Jinnah to return to India and lead the movement for Pakistan. That pivotal decision, supported by Khalifa's council, helped shape the destiny of the subcontinent. After Pakistan's creation, Hazrat Chaudhry Zafrullah Khan Sahib, a devout Ahmadi, became his first foreign minister and also represented various Muslim and Arab nations at the United Nations fighting for their independence. This again was the vision of Khilafat, working behind the scene to uplift the entire Muslim Ummah. Hazrat Khalifa Masih II was not only a leader of the Jama'at, but an intellectual giant. He authored the 5-volume commentary of the Holy Quran, a masterpiece that is still revered today. His call for the spread of Islam's true teaching globally took the Jama'at into Europe, Africa, and Americas, making the message of the promised Messiah a truly global mission. He also traveled to the Middle East and Europe, representing Islam and the Jama'at with honor, dignity, and eventually arriving in London to deliver a speech at the Conference of World Religions, where his address was hailed and was one of the most profound contributions. Following the monumental address of the Hazrat Khalifa Masih II at the Conference of World Religions in London, a truly historic moment was marked, the laying of the foundation stone of Fazl Mosque, the first mosque in the heart of London. And on the 19th of October 1924, Hazrat Khalifa Masih II led the foundation ceremony of what would become one of the most significant mosques in Western Europe. On this occasion, Hazur addressed the crowd present and said, "Time is coming when Islam will spread in the West, and this mosque will be the center from which the light of Islam will radiate." At that time, London was the center of global influence, and this act carried deep symbolic and spiritual meaning. It was the planting of the flag of Islam in the very capital of the global empire. And just last year, on October the 24th, we celebrated 100 years of Fazl Mosque's foundation, a mosque that was not only to become a hub for the Ahmadiyya Muslim community in the West, but also a center for guidance, interfaith dialogue, and moral direction to global powers. The vision of Khalifa Masih II to establish a spiritual stronghold in the West was prophetic. It laid the groundwork for the future migration of Khilafat itself and for the globalization of the Jama'at. He continued to guide the Jama'at through the partition of India with divine foresight and established the new headquarters of the Jama'at in Rabwa, Pakistan. What began as a barren, empty land under the direction of the second Khalifa was transformed into a flourishing town with schools, colleges, hospitals, printing presses, and a vibrant community life. Rabwa became the spiritual and administrative capital of the Jama'at and a beacon of education and service in the new nation. The contributions of Ahmadis to the development of Pakistan in its early years cannot be overstated. From judges, civil servants and ambassadors, generals and scientists, Ahmadis held positions and worked with loyalty and excellence. In the battlefield, heroes like General Iftikhar and Jua gave their lives to Pakistan. In science, under the guidance and encouragement of Khilafat, a young Ahmadi man named Dr. Abdul Salam rose to become the first Muslim Nobel laureate in physics, a giant of a man whose genius was nurtured with the spirit of the Jama'at. Under Khalifa Masih II, the annual Jalsa Salana Rabwa grew year after year. What began in the tents ended into enormous gatherings. And by 1983, the final Jalsa held in Rabwa saw an astounding 275 attendees, a testament to the unity, dedication, and spiritual magnetism of Khilafat. Yet, with progress came increasing opposition. During the time of the second Khalifa, the Munir inquiry had declared that no cleric could define who is a Muslim and who isn't. Still, hatred festered. In 1965, Hazrat Khalifa III was elected as Khalifa al-Masih. Hazrat Mirza Nasir Ahmed was elected as Khalifa al-Masih III, a man of humility, spiritual depth, and scholarship. He inherited the Jama'at on solid footing, but soon found himself navigating through a growing wave of opposition. Under the government of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, political pressure from extremist clerics mounted, and in 1974, Pakistan's National Assembly held a debate on the status of Ahmadis, and after a deeply biased and unjust process, declared the Jama'at to be non-Muslims. Hazrat Khalifa III, in response, stood with dignity and spiritual clarity, and he warned the nation, saying, "If you declare us as non-Muslims today, tomorrow no one will remain a Muslim in your eyes." His words proved prophetic. What followed in the years ahead was rapid sectarianism breaking down in Pakistan, just as he had forewarned. And yet, despite this, Hazrat Khalifa Masih III did not falter. He launched initiatives like the Nusrat Jahan scheme, which built schools and hospitals across Africa, a project that still transforms lives even today. He also laid the foundation stone of the Basharat Mosque in Pakistan, the first mosque built in the country over 700 years, symbolizing Islam's peaceful return to once a glorious land of Muslim civilization. And it was under this Khilafat that the Jama'at adopted now the world-renowned slogan, "Love for all, hatred for none." These are not empty words. This was and remains the living ethos of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. Wherever you go in the world today, the message follows. It opens doors, softens hearts, and stands as a moral lighthouse in the age of division. In 1982, Hazrat Khalifa Masih III was reunited with his creator, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. The community mourned, but also knew the work of Khilafat could not and would not stop. In 1982, a new chapter began with the election of Hazrat Mirza Tahir Ahmed, Khalifa al-Masih IV. Soon after Hazur's election, the former President Ziaul Haq's regime enacted the oppressive Ordinance 10, which legally silenced the voice of the Khalifa in Pakistan. In response to these threats, Hazrat Khalifa Masih IV made the momentous decision to migrate to London, turning to the Fazl Mosque, whose foundation had been laid 60 years earlier by the second Khalifa, into an international headquarters of the Jama'at. This is not a retreat, it was divine repositioning. From London, the center of the modern world, Khilafat could now speak to the globe, and Ahmadiyyat could enter a new phase of unprecedented expansion. When he arrived, the UK Jama'at was very small, but deeply sincere. The first Jalsa that took place in Mahmood Hall, which most of you have seen, is very small. And the final day was held in Surbiton Recreation Center, just a few miles from the Fazl Mosque, where Hazur addressed the Jamaat's congregation, and the entire Jamaat of UK, consisting of 1,500 men and 1,500 women, were in attendance. This gives a powerful sense of the humble beginnings which the global mission was to be relaunched. Hazrat Khalifa al-Masih IV immediately recognized the potential of the UK Jamaat. He focused on training of the youth, developing them into discipline, knowledge, and commitment required to serve the cause of Islam and Khilafat. He foresaw the Jamaat in the UK would grow rapidly and instructed the land be purchased for the Jamaat's future needs. In September 1984, the Sheephatch School, Tilford, was acquired and named Islamabad, The name Islamabad was based on a decision, a dream seen by our Murabbi Usman Chow Sahib. It became a new hub of activity, though London Mosque continued to serve as the global spiritual center, housing the residence and the office of the Khalifa. From this base, with very limited resources but unlimited determination, the international work of the Jama'at was reorganized and relaunched. The early Jalsas held on this site were modest in number, about 4,000 attendees in 1985. But such is the transformative power of Khilafat that soon the 25-acre sites felt small. More land had to be acquired, and eventually Jama'at had to secure land 10 times the size to accommodate the ever-growing numbers of the Jalsa Salana. And even this site is now becoming very small. During this blessed era, the centenary of the Jama'at was commemorated worldwide, but celebrations were not the focus. The work was. Huge efforts began in translation, publication, and propagation of Islam Ahmadiyya. Hazrat Khalifa IV himself translated the Holy Quran and wrote the scholarly works such as Revelation, Rationality, Knowledge, and Truth, and launched various outreach humanitarian programs. One of the most significant ones was the launch of Humanity First. From sending volunteers to Bosnia with food parcels, Humanity First is now established in 60 countries, running schools, hospitals, disaster relief operations, clean water initiatives, all inspired by Islamic principles, service to mankind. Another monumental initiative was the Waqf-e-Nau scheme, a spiritual revolution in which parents dedicate their unborn children to the service of Islam. Today, hundreds and thousands of Waqfeen are serving across the globe, carrying forward the mission of peaceful education and moral reformation. But perhaps the most groundbreaking achievement of his Khilafat was the launch of Muslim Television Ahmadiyya, MTA. While Hazrat Khalifa III had hoped for a radio station, Allah had greater plans. A global 24-hour satellite TV channel, MTA began modestly, only 3 days a week, run by volunteers. But by April 1996, it was broadcasting 24/7 around the world, changing the face of Islamic outreach forever. It became a lifeline for millions of Ahmadis, especially those under persecution, a platform to present the true teaching of Islam with dignity, logic, and love. During this era, Hazrat Khalifa IV also revived interest in homeopathy, teaching languages, and personally treating many, giving comfort and healing where conventional help was lacking. He held children's classes, engaged with the youth, and every tool available to spiritually and intellectually empower the Jama'at. Then, as the decree of Allah, in April 2003, the fourth Khalifa returned to his Lord, Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. The Jama'at was devastated. It was a moment of profound grief, but grief turned to hope and resolve, because the system of Khilafat does not break. On the 22nd of April 2003, the fifth Khalifa, Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmed was elected by the will of God through the blessed system of election, alhamdulillah. When his name was announced, there was an instant transformation in the atmosphere. Tears of sorrow turned into tears of joy. Hearts found peace once more, and his very first words to the Jama'at were, I have just one request to the Jama'at at this time. Please place great emphasis on prayer. Pray, pray, please pray, please pray. It was a clear signal that the journey ahead would not be easy, but with prayer, faith, and Khilafat, we would prevail as we always have. He assumed this divine office at a highly turbulent time. The world was changing rapidly. Just months earlier, Iraq had been invaded. The Muslim world was under scrutiny, and extremist ideologies were hijacking the name of Islam. But under his Khilafat, the true message of the love for all, hatred for none would reach every corner of the globe, not just in words, but in action. One of the final visionary instructions of Khalifa IV was to find a site to build the largest mosque in Western Europe, a symbol of Islam's peaceful message standing tall in the heart of the West. He himself laid the foundation of Baitul Futuh Mosque, a project that was to be completed during the early days of the Fifth Khilafat. And indeed, one of the first tasks of Hazrat Khalifa V was to inaugurate Baitul Futuh Mosque, a stunning structure that instantly drew attention of the media and governments around the world. Television crews, reporters, and international leaders came to find out more about this magnificent mosque and, more importantly, the community behind it. This was the best way of introducing the Jama'at to the rest of the world. This mosque became a symbol of Jama'at's peaceful mission and opened a new chapter in the global recognition of Ahmadiyya, the message of true Islam: peace, service to humanity, and absolute loyalty to one's nation began to spread more widely than ever before. With this inauguration, the fifth Khalifa began its journey in earnest, facing new and intensified global challenges. The world was now moving rapidly from an era of relative peace to one of widespread conflict, mistrust, and fear. It was the duty of the Khalifa to offer both solace and guidance. And this is what Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmed Ayatollah ibn Aziz has done with unwavering strength and wisdom. He took immediate steps to expand the Muslim television Ahmadiyya to a truly global network. What started as a single channel broadcasting from London is now a family of several 24/7 channels serving viewers in Arabic, Urdu, English, French, Swahili, and many other languages. Today, MT has studios across Africa, North America, South America, Asia, and Europe, and stands as the only truly global television network committed to spreading the peaceful message of the Prophet Messiah Islam. And its programs serve not only to educate Ahmadis, but to remove the misconception about Islam from the wider world. A global tension rose from the Middle East to Eastern Europe. Huzur emerged as a single voice of reasoning and moral clarity. He consistently warned the world leaders about the growing threat of the Third World War and the catastrophic consequences of a nuclear conflict. In his speeches in parliaments around the world, including the UK Houses of Parliament, European Parliament, Capitol Hill in the US, and others, and through dozens of letters written to world leaders, Huzur called for justice, equity, and moral leadership. Huzur established the annual National Peace Symposium in the UK, which draws politicians, religious leaders, diplomats, and academics from around the world. In each keynote address, Huzur delivered clear guidance that peace is not possible without justice and that international institutions like the United Nations must be reformed to operate with fairness and equality. He speaks out fearlessly against the imbalance of power, pointing out that the veto system in the United Nations undermines global unity and creates injustice. He also emphasizes that the trillions spent on weapons should instead be used to eradicate poverty, hunger, and disease. Alongside these efforts, Huzur has overseen a massive expansion of the humanitarian projects, and under his leadership, Humanity First has become a global NGO with active in over 65 countries. And the direction of Huzur Anwar, IEEE also undertaking humanitarian projects in different countries. Model villages, hospitals, schools, clean water projects have been established in the most remote corners of the world. During the humanitarian crisis, from natural disasters to war zones, Humanity First volunteers are among the first to arrive and the last to leave. The Jama'at is now seen as a model for Muslims around the world, showing how faith and service can go hand in hand. The Jama'at has now translated the Holy Quran in over 70 languages, with more in progress. And under Huzur's leadership, Jamias or missionary colleges have been established in many countries, producing well-trained scholars ready to spread the true teaching of Islam. Mosques continue to be built at a remarkable rate across Africa, Europe, Asia, and Americas. And every one of these stand as a symbol of peace and prayer, not politics or division. Even world leaders who, while fully aware that Ahmadis have been declared as non-Muslims by the certain governments, now openly say that this is the Islam that we need to see, an Islam of love, education, and peaceful coexistence, especially when we have a very bad name in the Western world, or Islam has a very bad name. This has become a beacon of light for them, that they acknowledge that this is the true Islam. Although being declared non-Muslims was painful and unjust, we see now that Allah had His own divine plan. By separating us, He allowed the community to stand out as a guiding light, a clear contrast to extremism, political Islam, and sectarianism. Under Khilafat, the Jama'at has become a global family of righteous discipline, service, and peace. We have become the living example of how Muslims should behave, live, and contribute to society, all through the guidance of a living Khalifa. The face of outgoing atrocities in the world, Hazur has consistently called for justice and immediate peace. He's urged the Jama'at to pray deeply for the innocent and has raised his voice in parliaments and platforms to stop this intolerable tragedy that is unfolding before us. We have a duty to raise our voices for justice, and the silence can no longer be an option. Every Friday, Hazur's sermon, Hazur continues to call for prayers for peace and global responsibility. He provides the Jama'at not only with spiritual nourishment, but with moral and global leadership at the time, and few others are providing it. My dear brothers and sisters, as we reflect on this incredible journey of this blessed Jama'at under the divine institution of Khilafat, we bear witness to something truly extraordinary, the fulfillment of a divine promise unfolding before our very eyes. What began in a small village in Qadian over 100 years ago has now become a global spiritual movement spreading peaceful message of Islam to every continent on the earth. And essential to the transformation is the guiding light of Khilafat, a leadership that is not born of politics or power, but of prayer, sacrifice, and divine appointment. Under the leadership of Khalifa Masih, the fifth, Hayat bin Aziz, this light is now reaching the furthest corners of the world. Each year, hundreds and thousands enter the fold of Islam Ahmadiyya, taking bath at the hands of the Khalifa of the time, submitting not to a man, but to the will of Allah, the Almighty. And now, as the world grows darker in confusion, injustice, and conflict, this light of Khilafat shines ever brighter, calling mankind back to his Creator. The ultimate mission of the promised Islam, the task given to him by Allah, was to bridge the distance between humanity and God, to revive the true teaching, to revive the true spirituality, and to bring hearts back to the love and remembrance of their Lord. And this is the sacred mission of our beloved Hazur, and is now advancing with full force. Through new initiatives, platforms, and outreach, including the Review of Religions, peace conferences, world conferences, and digital, the Jama'at is speaking to the modern world in its own language, but with the eternal truth of Islam. Our youth, alhamdulillah, are stepping forward as ambassadors of peace, faith, and reason, just as Hazur envisioned. And yet, despite all this progress, the true success of the mission rests not just in numbers of buildings, but in our own personal connection with Allah. Every member of the Jama'at must ask themselves, am I drawing closer to my Creator? Am I fulfilling the mission of the promised Islam? Am I following the guidance of Khalifa, not only in words, but in actions and prayers? Let us renew our pledge today that we will give precedence to our faith over all worldly matters, that we will strive to reflect the beauty of Islam in our homes, in our conduct, and in our service to mankind, that we will never allow the flame of Khilafat to dim, but will carry it forward generation after generation until the message of Islam reaches every heart and every home. May Allah enable us to be true servants of Khilafat. May we always remain under the protective shade of this divine institution, and may we be counted amongst those who help fulfill the prophecy of the Prophet ﷺ to revive Islam, unite mankind, and re-establish a living relationship with our Creator. And may Allah grant our beloved Hazur good health and long life so that we can continue to receive Allah's blessing through this great institution. Jazakallah. Allah bless you all. Assalamu alaikum.